Salvete, and welcome in to another edition of Veritas Latin Review. In today's episode, we'll be reviewing the first page of Capitulum Decimum, Bestiae et Homines. Join me. Hello and welcome in. I hope that you're doing well and recovering well. I'm going to be reading through the first page of Bestiae et Homines, and I'm going to teach all of the new words in this page, and then we're going to review the first page together. Bestiae et Homines. Equus et asinus, leo et lupus, canis et ovis, bestiae sunt. So here we are, it's page 69. Equus, you already know, means horse, right? Equus, equi. Et asinus. And you see here a picture to the side of an asinus. Et asinus significat donkey. Equus et asinus. Leo et lupus. You already know what a lupus is. And now here's a picture of a leo. Canis et ovis bestiae sunt. Et canis, you already know, is a dog. So what do all of these things have in common? All of them are bestiae. Bestiae. So what do you think bestia means? The word is bestia, bestiae. Well, if you guessed that it means beast, then you would be correct. Bestia, bestiae means beast. And I won't define it as animal, because later on in the chapter, you'll learn that the word animal in Latin refers to both humans and beasts. But the word bestia, bestiae significat beast. And it'd be a good idea to take out your notebook paper, or if you have your Latin binder with you, and write in your Latin binder these new words that we're learning. So the ones that we've learned so far are asinus, asini, which is masculine. Leo, leonis, right? So here we can write them off to the side. Bestia, bestiae. You have asinus, asini, leo, and then the genitive is leonis. This is a masculine third declension one. And all of these are bestiae, which is first declension feminine. So, Equus et asinus, leo et lupus, canis et ovis bestiae sunt. Leo et lupus sunt bestiae ferae, quae alias bestias capiunt et edunt. In Africa sunt multi leones. Pastores Africae leones timent, nam leones non solum oves pastorum edunt, sed etiam pastores ipsos. Let's stop here and go back. Leo et lupus sunt bestiae ferae. I wonder what ferae means. Well, let's read on and see. Quae, and you know that quae means which, so it's saying that the lion and the wolf are a certain kind of beast, which capiunt et edunt alias bestias. They're a certain kind of beast which eat other beasts, edunt alias bestias, et capiunt alias bestias. Capere significat to seize. To seize. So the infinitive is capere, and it means to seize. And the first person singular is capit, meaning he, she, it seizes. And then in the plural, capiunt, which means they seize. Bene. So, capere with a short E. I hope you can read that. Capit, so the Leo et lupus are beasts that seize alias bestias. They seize alias bestias, and you know that alias means other, so they seize other beasts and eat them. This means that they are ferae bestiae. And ferae significat ferus, fera ferum, significat wild or ferocious. Vene, wild or ferocious. In Africa sunt multi leones. So in Africa, there are many lions. Pastores Africae leones timent, nam leones non solum oves pastorem edunt, sed etiam pastores ipsos. So I don't know if you remember this expression. I'm going to erase so I have room to write. But non solum sed etiam means not only, but also. So if you don't remember it, it'd be a good idea to jot down non solum ... sed etiam means not only, but also. So the pastores, the shepherds of Africa, fear the lions. Nam, for the lions do not only eat the oves pastorum, the sheep of the shepherds, sed etiam, but also the pastores ipsos, but also the shepherds themselves. And you remember saying ipse in the previous chapter, the lupus ipse, the wolf itself. So here we're saying the shepherds themselves. So that's why the shepherds fear the lions, quia leones edunt pastores. All right, let's keep going. Non bestia, on line 5, sed homo est pastor. Leones autem, non solum alias bestias, sed etiam homines edunt. So it's saying here that the pastor non est bestia, sed est homo. What do you think homo hominis means? Homo hominis. It's masculine, third declension, and it means human, a human. So a vir or a femina, a human. The shepherd is not a beast, said homo, but a human. Leones, autem, and here autem means the equivalent of sed. So we could say, sed leones, non solum alias bestias, sed etiam homines edunt. It translates into English as something close to however. Autem significat however, and it always comes after the first word of the sentence. However. So the leones, however, do not only eat other beasts, sed etiam, but also homines, but also humans. And here we see the non solum sed etiam construction again. Next line, on line number 7. Ferae et homines amici non sunt. Right? Canis amicus hominis est. Ea bestia fera non est. So here, the word fera appears again, and you know that it means wild. But when it's used on its own with the feminine ending, you see ferae, it's the feminine plural ending, you know that it's talking about ferae bestiae. And so they don't even write bestiae in this space next to ferae. because it's implied that it's talking about wild beasts. So we do this in English from time to time as well. When we talk about the wild, when we refer to the wild, we really mean the wild places. But few people actually go on and say the wild places. They just say the wild, and we know that they're talking about wild places, wild forests. But here, it's similar. So ferai, if you see in the margin, functions as a noun. It functions as the expression wild beast. So it's saying here, and here you see it in the margin, that wild beasts and humans amici non sunt. Wild beasts and humans are not friends. And when I first taught this chapter to a group of 8th grade girls once, they thought that the word bestia meant besties. And so I came up with the mantra, imitating this sentence, that ferae bestiae et homines non sunt besties, right? Wild beasts and humans are not amici. They're not best friends. You already know the word amicus means friend. All right, let's continue then. Canis amicus hominis est, right? It's saying the dog is an amicus, is a friend, hominis, of the human. And here, hominis is in the genitive case. It has the is ending from the third declension to show possession, right? A friend of the human. Ea bestia, here it's saying that beast, is id, fera non est, is not wild, right? The dog is not a wild beast, is a friend of man. You might say man's best friend, as some say. All right, let's keep going. Let's go on to the next paragraph. I hope you have those words down. I'm going to erase now. Aliae bestiae sunt aves, aliae pisces. Aquila est magna avis fera, quae parvas aves capit et est. Aves in aere volant, pisces in aqua natant, homines in terra ambulant. Avis duas alas habet, homo duos pedes habet. Pisces neque alas, neque pedes habet. Let's stop here and go back. So it starts with the sentence, aliae bestiae sunt aves, aliae pisces. And here you see a picture of a certain kind of avis in the margin, right? This is called an aquila, and an aquila is a magna avis fera. So if you already guessed it by now, avis, significat, it's avis, and it's a feminine third declension, and it means bird. So, aliae bestiae sunt aves, aliae pisces. Piscis is a fish. The word is piscis in the genitive. It's masculine, third declension. It means fish. And you remember from chapter 8 when it said, ali tabernarii rosas, ali tabernarii ornamenta vendunt. This expression means some and then others. So it's saying some beasts are birds, others are fish. And the aquila is a magna avis fera, a large and wild, a large and fierce, ferocious bird. And if you can tell, the aquila, it's aquila aquilae, feminine first declension, and it is an eagle, which you can see in Maymont Park if you're ever curious. So aquila is eagle. And what does it do? It's which, quae, capit parvas aves, which seizes small birds, et est, and eats them. And here is a new word, est. Put it here at the top. Est is the first person singular, and the third person singular, and the third person plural is edunt. So est means he, she, it eats. Edunt means they eat. And the infinitive is a little odd. The infinitive is esse with a long e, or it can sometimes be edere. So this would mean to eat. And est means he, she, it eats. So it's telling us here that the Aquila eats, est, small birds. Now, you must keep in mind that est is not the same thing as est, which is confusing because est means is, but est with a long e means eats. This is why the vowels are so important in Latin, because a little difference in a long or a short vowel could change the meaning of the word entirely. Let's keep going on line 10. Aves in aere volant. Ubi volant aves. Volare significat to fly. Volare means to fly. And volat means he, she, it flies, or volant means they fly. So aves in aere volant. So the birds fly. Ubi in aere. And here is the word to your right in the margin, aer, aeris. And this means, as you might guess, air. So aves, the birds fly in the air. Pisces, next sentence, in aqua natant, right? The fish in the water do what? Well, if you guessed that they swim, then you're correct. Natare significat to swim. And he, she, it swims is natat. They swim, natant. Homo, let's keep going. Homo on line 12. Duos pedes habet. Piscis neque alas neque pedes habet. So a human has duos pedes. Pedis, you see it's written here in the margin, means this thing below, a foot, right? So humans have a human has 2 feet. Piscis, and that word is third declension masculine, pes pedis. Piscis neque alas neque pedes habet. So a fish has neither feet nor alas. And alas, you see here, ala, and then in the genitive it's alai. It's feminine and it means wing. So fish neither have feet nor wings, nor alas. Next sentence. Avis quae volat alas movet. Homo qui ambulat pedes movet. Piscis qui natat caudam movet. Cum avis volat alae moventur. Cum homo ambulat pedes moventur. All right, let's stop here. Avis quae volat alas movet. So it's saying a bird which flies movet alas. Et movere is a verb that means to move. To move. And here it's moet for he, she, it moves. Movent for they move. So a fish which flies moves its wings. A homo qui ambulat, a human who walks, movet pedes, moves feet. Piscis qui natat caudam movet, a fish which swims moves caudam. And here you see cauda in the margin, which means, of course, tail. It's cauda, caudai, first declension, feminine. A fish which swims moves its tail. Cum avis volat alae moventur. So here we have a new usage of the word cum, which you've already seen before as a preposition that means with, but here at the start of the sentence, it means something different. When you see cum at the start of a sentence, it means not with, but the equivalent of when in English. So it's saying when the bird flies, cum avis volat, alai moventur. And here moventur, you'll notice, is not active but passive. So it's saying when the bird flies, the wings are moved, moventur. Because the word movet in Latin is not quite the same as it is in English. In English, we could use movet in two senses. We could say that I move, meaning I am moving, or that I move some object. But in Latin, you always have to be moving something. So even if you yourself are moving, we would write that you move yourself in Latin, rather than just you move or I move. This is the difference between transitive and intransitive verbs. In English, the word move is both transitive and intransitive, meaning it can be used with an object or without an object. But in Latin, there always has to be an object. And so the wings are being moved. The alae are moved when the bird flies. Cum homo ambulat, next sentence. When the human walks, pedes moventur. When the human walks, the feet are moved. All right, let's go on to the next page in a little bit. Cum pisces natat, you will see cauda movetur is on the next page. But that's where we're going to leave it for today, because we've made it to the end of the first page. I hope that you have all those vocabulary words down. Now, let's briefly reread this whole page and see if you can understand, put together the meaning of the sentences using the new vocab words that you've just jotted down. I'm going to read it slowly. Read along with me. Equus et asinus, leo et lupus, canis et ovis bestiae sunt. Leo et lupus sunt bestiae ferae, quae alias bestias capiunt et edunt. In Africa sunt multi leones. Pastores Africae leones timent. Nam leones non solum oves pastorum edunt, sed etiam pastores ipsos. Non bestia, sed homo est pastor. Leones autem, non solum alias bestias, sed etiam homines edunt. Ferae et homines amici non sunt. Canis amicus hominis est. Ea bestia fera non est. Aliae bestiae sunt aves, aliae pisces. Aquila est magna avis fera, quae parvas aves capit et est. Aves in aere volant. Pisces in aqua natant. Homines in terra ambulant. Avis duas alas habet. Homo duos pedes habet. Piscis neque alas neque pedes habet. Avis quae volat alas movet. Homo qui ambulat pedes movet. Piscis qui natat caudam movet. Cum avis volat alae moventur. Cum homo ambulat pedes moventur. Cum piscis natat cauda movetur. Bene. I will stop here, and as review, I would like you to look over these new vocabulary words that you've learned, and then, without the aid of your notes, if possible, reread this first page that we've worked through together. And you're welcome to use the recording of my voice reading that first page, and I would recommend it if it's helpful for you. All right, have a wonderful weekend. I hope that you recover well, and I will see you hopefully next week. If not, I will be in touch and be helping you to plan a strategy for keeping up while you're absent. All right, Wale.